So I moved down here to Tampa after I just kept feeling like I had to get out of Buffalo. And I was getting sober. I was sober at the time. And one of my best friends, or a really, really good friend, mom and dad who I knew in church and grew up in a Pentecostal church with, and just met them when I was like 19. And we just always stayed in contact, and I was just a family friend and stuff. Well, I moved down here to Tampa, and I noticed that this Yeshua thing had kind of been part of their thing, and I was there going to this church. I forget what it was called, but they would read from like the Torah, and they had I forget what the pastor's called in the Hebrew faith, but I completely was skeeved out by the whole entire thing, and I just wasn't ever at peace with calling Jesus Yeshua or Yeshua Jesus or Jesus whatever, and it just never sat right with me. One time during church service, I literally fell asleep because the mom was playing all these controlling games with me, and I had to work at 9 o'clock at night, and I still have my sleep apnea, and I was exhausted, and she made me go to church before I went in to work the midnight shift. Just completely acting crazy, and I was just like, man, this bitch is acting nuts. And then she came on to me later on, but I fell asleep in church and hit my head on the fucking pew and fell out, and I woke up, and the pastor and like 25 people were standing over me, and I was just like, I said something like, it wasn't because I was bored, you know what I mean? Which was the truth. But anyways, we were at this, the one guy owns a fast food restaurant, I forget what it's called, Zaxby's or something in Valrico or Seffner, Florida, and they catered this men's like prayer thing, and I just remember this is the first time like God had been showing me signs about moving to Florida, and just showing me like funny things, but like things that were leading me to go to Florida, and making it expedited. And I came down here, and I was sitting in this men's thing. We're in this big house, and this guy was talking about his wife was like having problems at her job, and the Holy Spirit just told me to get up and say that she's not going to have to worry about it no more. And now, I had never had God or the Holy Spirit move in me, and if somebody said that to me during church, I'd think that they were smoking crack. Because I just didn't have God speak to me like that. But God kept telling me. And God had told me earlier things that I said to happen. That God told me before I moved to Florida that I'm going to tell you things, and you're to tell people what I tell you and not put your own spin on it. God just told me to get up and tell that guy that his wife's not going to have to worry about it this much longer, that much longer. And I was like, I don't want to stand up in front of a bunch of Yeshua people. I'm trying to eat my chicken sandwich. God just kept pulling at my heartstrings, and I finally got up and I said, hey, yeah, I'm new here. There's like 30 people in this big living room. Said, God's telling me, what's your name? Yeah, God's telling me to tell you that your wife isn't going to have to worry about this any longer, that things are going to change. And I said, that's all I know. I'm not one of these people that does that, but I just want you to know that. And the guy goes, really? Wow. And I go, yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt or whatever, but I just had to tell you that. If you knew me, you'd know that I don't do that. Next church service I come in, the pastor pulls me in the office and I was like, listen, you can't do that during our church meetings. You have to run that through me or my other pastor, blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, I don't. I said, that's not in the Bible. It says when the Spirit speaks, you're to testify and you're to get up, and it doesn't, it's not for you to agree with, or you might not know nothing about it. And he goes, well, anyway, she got fired from her job. And I was like, holy shit. And he was like, what did you say? I said, that's what God said, that she wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. And he goes, oh, don't try to tell me that that's part of your revel. I said, he told, did I not verbatim say that the Holy Spirit told me that she wouldn't have to worry about it anymore, that it's not going to be a problem? He said, yeah, that's what you said. It's not going to be a problem. She got fired. You know what I mean? And so I just told my friend's mom, I'm not going to this church anymore. I didn't grow up in I grew up in a Baptist and got into the Pentecostal church where I got some of the spiritual gifts, and one of them was tongues. The other one was immediate discernment. And I just said, this Yeshua thing is bullshit. A high school, funny thing is, I completely forgot about this. My high school sweetheart, we moved to Florida, and her mom started to go into this Jewish Christian center, and she goes, yeah, they call Jesus Yeshua. And I knew right in my heart, it felt like how you feel when someone cheats on you. My stomach felt like I had glass in it. I was like, man, I don't know about that. That just sounds effed up. So then 25 years later, it comes back and I just go, oh yeah, I remember this nonsense. And then I made all these videos about Rob Skiba, and I completely debunked the Torah. Well, the Holy Spirit gave me the revelations debunking the Torah video, or the Torah movement and all his stuff, and what a cult it is, and it's the great falling away, and they'll show you another Jesus, and there's only one name under heaven, and that's Jesus. It's not YWMH or, clothing company or whatever you want to call it.